The state's anti-corruption agency USKOK last night announced the biggest indictment in its history. In the case called Hippocrates, a total of 364 people, including general practitioners, pharmacists and employees from the Pharmal pharmaceutical company, are accused of bribery. The indictment alleges that Pharmal's CEO, Dražen Dedi, and 4 other of its directors were involved in organizing and running a corruption scam between 2009 and 2012, which involved bribing a large number of doctors and pharmacists to prescribe and sell Pharmal's drugs in return for vouchers, money, holidays and other gifts. Meanwhile, USKOK has issued an indictment against 17 people, including 4 Osijek University law professors, in the so-called Index case. The professors are accused of allowing students to enroll and pass grades without taking the required exams in return for money, gifts and various other services. And USKOK has also launched another investigation into the former head of Zagreb City Office for Planning, City Development, Utilities and Transport, Davor Jelavić, who is already being investigated for illegal changes to the city's general urban plan. Jelavić and 3 others are said to have signed contracts with the Gamont construction company to build bus shelters, paying much more than they should have done for them, thereby damaging the city budget by around 6 million kuna. The government yesterday announced that the final version of their hospital restructuring plan, dubbed the Master Plan, would be presented by the end of January, and that the decision on which institutions would be merged would be made by the end of February. With these reforms, the government is planning to save 400 million kuna a year. While there has been a negative response from those areas which will be affected, the Association for Patients' Rights said last night that it need not be a bad idea. The Ministry of Labour and the pension system has called on the Brodosplit shipyard's management to review its decision to lay off about 30 workers, arguing every job possible should be preserved to achieve economic growth. The ministry is calling for calm and says it wants to enable workers to continue to work in a healthy working environment. Former Croatian President Stjepan Mesić, during an interview for Croatian radio, commented today on the case of former Yugoslav spy Josip Perković, who is wanted in Germany on murder charges, expressing his view that this was a matter solely for the judiciary. He also said that the procedure of amending the constitution shouldn't have been initiated without there being a consensus between the 2 biggest political parties, the SDP and HDZ. Mesić also expressed his support for the idea of amending Croatia's treaty with the Vatican. Sport, and in ice hockey, Zagreb's Medveščak lost to the Russian side Dinamo Moscow yesterday evening despite the support of around 12,000 fans. The score was 5-0. Medveščak continued to be 7th in the Western Conference with 62 points, while Dinamo lead the rankings with 82 points. Last night's game marks the beginning of the 5-match Ice Fever event in the Zagreb Arena. The next match is on Sunday against Vityaz from the Russian town of Chekhov. And the International Ski Federation decided today to cancel the Snow Queen World Cup slalom events, which are usually held on Zagreb's nearby mountain, Sljeme, at the beginning of January because of unsuitable weather conditions. This afternoon's forecast calls for mostly or partly sunny weather. In a few places inland, some low-lying cloud may linger. Towards the evening on the northern Adriatic, there will be a gradual build-up of cloud. Winds will be mostly weak, while in higher regions there'll be a moderate southwesterly wind. On the coast there'll be a moderate southeasterly Yugo wind, with a southwesterly wind on the open seas of the northern Adriatic. Average daily temperatures will be between 8 and 13 degrees Celsius inland, between 13 and 17 degrees on the coast.